and talk about the arena, everybody. Thanks, Paolo, by the way. That's it right there. You can't see it though. The lights are just overwhelming. But it's being built, right? You get the idea. If I go a little bit backwards, you can see the stage of it. It's being built up. The LEDs are all the lights are being tested out. So if you see some flamboyant lighting going on in the background, that is why. But yeah, it's going to be epic. It's going to be cool. And talk about the matchup, Jay. We're talking about Fnatic and Big. This is the final frontier. This is the decider now on Veritgo.
It's so tough to call as well, right? Because it's a map that we don't know much about for the Big side. Obviously, only a couple maps on record in the last 3 months, plus the fact that Fnatic as a whole haven't been known. Dwayne was mentioning earlier that the Copenhagen Flames add-ons were obviously well proficient on this map, but the truth is that the whole team for both sides, we don't know. This one's going either way.
This really could go either way. Fnatic on the T side, Big starting off on CT. As tabseN looks to go a little bit aggressive out from the go. Crimbo start things us off well. It is Big to gain most of the advantage here as they do move in forwards, and Fnatic seem to be greeting a big wall in front of them, just bumping into it and dying one after the other.
Yeah, just up for Nico Odos to try and see if he can hold it together on the Fnatic side with the pistol. Looks to definitively go the way of Big on this one. Easy kills coming in for the CT forces. Good exit frag at the very least for Nico Odos right there. But not going to end up being a pistol for Fnatic. Big will start things off on the right foot, and that is really what you want to see from them. Again, they came in real good in that last map. A dominant start on the CT side, and then turning into a bit of a comeback for Fnatic to their credit, but not one that ultimately won the map up. So Big, if they can replicate a similar result, that'll be enough to get the series.
What I love about seeing LAN is seeing how all the players interact with each other, next to each other, with the coaches and everything. And one thing that B brings to the table is the hype up, the energy, trying to put Big feel good about getting victory. Whenever they get a win, they need to celebrate it to make sure that they never let go of that PMA, the all-important positive mental attitude.
See very little of that CS these days. So I want to see that a lot more from Big. And from Fnatic as well, obviously, been a lot more composed over the course of this game. No composure will get you much further here on this basic eco. There are upgrade pistols onto Nico Odos, but that is about it. No Kevlar, no util, so there should be another formality round for Big. Haven't seen many problems when it comes to the ecos. The conversions have been a bit more awkward, I mean, in terms of the force buys especially. But in these kind of rounds, it should be Big taking it.
Yeah, and that's Fnatic. Just bring out the magic. These cricket rockets that I like to call them. If they start right-clicking, they sound like it. Baba, not having too many issues there. Does receive a bullet to the head, thankfully. Does have the helmet. Keeps him sustained. Doesn't go through the skull, and therefore Big are able to mow them down as quickly as that.
Yeah, 2-0 start. Simple stuff. Not much you can break down from that previous round. It's really all about the guns. So that's what will be coming out here. And now for Fnatic. See what particular guns they will have. I imagine it will be AKs across the board, and indeed it will be. No AWP for them yet. Same can be said for the Big side. And without them taking many casualties over the course of this game so far, they'll stick with the SMGs on 2 individuals, a Tizzy and the searson. For Masters, but for tabseN, a bonus rifle for the CT side.
Fnatic now with a Y round, obviously. This is where they start to line up. Very aggressive here from Roy. Does get traded. It's all about the space you create, and it's all about the utility. Big are starting to expand. They're going so aggro on those fights. Nikodos takes up so much damage, and Crimbo is either very smart with his position or maybe too far out of his depth. Just peeing out, and Mezzi makes care he's no more in a matter of an instance.
That was a crispy adjustment. The perfect headshot. It was part of an overall spray, but still, first bullet accuracy for Mezzi right there. Wonderful for Fnatic, and away into the man advantage. Not quite the round itself, because they are lacking in map control. You can see that just in the minimap and that little camera angle we just saw there from the observer, the fact that they've just done the bottom of the ramp control. They haven't got any ramp control whatsoever, and you mentioned earlier the ramp simulator. It really is a pivotal part of the map for the T side.
It's a pivotal map, a pivotal side on both ends, really. Big need to figure out how they want to pace themselves, really, how aggressive they want to go, how early they want to contest Fnatic's push, how much space they want to allow them to have to get these setups to start to move forwards. Now, Molly, sandbags cleared out. Big have made the wrong decision to stack towards B, which means if Fnatic realize it sooner than later, they should have clear entry. But tabseN is fairly close, probably waiting for his teammates to kind of contest this.
Nades up, incendiaries on bomb. It's just going to get planted. Crim's actually evading the Molotov for the most part. Not the nades and not the bullets though. Easy pickings for the T side, it seems like. This backstab from Tizian should close it.
Oh yeah, it's all aligning here for Big. Just 2 kills straight out of the bat onto the site, which means that Nikodo is all that remains with all to do. Has to care for so many angles. That's ahead though, and the bomb is no longer stuck with Nikodo's! His brain is so huge! And he's able to find out through two throughout smokes. And now there's only one left, and Tizian is up against him. He has to shake after what happened to his team.
What is
before.
this?
Oh, he's circulated around this perfectly! Sprayed out, not quite there! Only 5 points of health, and Nikodo's, it hurts! He was so close to clutching it.
The look on his face, because he literally played that so perfectly. The 2 kills, the one through the smoke, and then he went around the boxes to the CT side of the site, and then when he heard the footsteps in from ramp, he went round again towards ramp side, and I'm just like, what is this big brain stuff from Nikodo's there? It hurts when you lose a clutch like that, because he knew he did everything right up until the jump came in, and that was the only play that could have won Big the round. Unbelievable.
That's crazy. If you wanted anyone in that position, it would have been Nikodo. Didn't have it.
Well, Fnatic will be back on the guns. At least that bomb plant bonus getting a justification for a force buy, because Big's money will be in tatters and it could be reset potential. AWP still in for Searson though, and the M4 for Tabson is engaging. The first frag not quite found by Roy there.
Yeah, a bit of trade and switch here with these positionings. Forest alluding to the idea of a B hit, but doesn't seem like it will be the commitment bomb. Very far now towards this ramp side. Tabson easing out of it. See Fnatic only with a couple of smokes left on their end. A couple of flashes as well. 1 minute to spare. Starting to work with fine margins. Searson just waiting for the right time.
That nade doesn't do as much as it really should have done, really.
Oh, but the shot is accurate, and that's important. Runs away to safety.
Yeah, frag found, big fall back. Fnatic also forced the rotation because they don't really have a choice. They're just locked out of their ramp control. It's been a common difficulty for them so far. They rotate towards the B side, but only 30 seconds left for the execution here. How much have they allowed themselves? Has it been enough?
It can't just be a trade game for them. It needs to be so much more. Crims to entry. Flash to assist, Faven. An all too familiar position for him. Tizian looking to contest. Oh, but Faven comes out of the shadows just in time. No one to cover it. Doubles up his kill count. Moonlight to try to get a triple. Nikodo's, though, still looking to make the brilliant work happen for them. Running out of time. Therefore, kills is all he's able to get. Searson putting him to his grave as quick as that. So it's only Forest to survive with a Galil by the end of that round for Fnatic.
Matt, Nikodos is doing everything he can to bring this back from the brink in every single scenario, right? Like the last clutch that he had in that 1 versus 3, then being down on the execution, the only thing that he could have done there is get the kills against the last 2 C3 players. It would have been impossible given the state of the last man being out towards that mid control. But the fact he even got those kills in the first place, like, I don't know what he's on, but he's clearly had some major breakfast this morning. Probably some good lunch at the same time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ruffling up Big to try and eat them for dinner if he can get there. He's doing well to try and do that. The problem is the rounds have not come through for him and his team.
Fnatic. Some seasoned veterans in there, so it could be quite a juicy meal. Oh, okay. Well, that's one way to go down. Might want to cook up your food, don't you?
Yeah. Any more food puns we can stick in there?
I don't know how many we can do, but I think we're on a good run.
Mezzi's been mashed.
And Tabson smashed. All right, well.
We're having too much fun with this.
Yeah, Fnatic aren't, though. That's the sad part. Obviously starting things off with a pistol round. Have found just a couple of kills. M4 now in the bag of Nikodo. It's definitely a player you want on that rifle. Oh, good swing out there from Crims. But there is a caveat in the mix. And that is a slow approaching Faven on the back end. Well, it's Searson as well to hold it out from the far angle. And Crims with all to do with just the deagle. Knows where Searson is contesting. Run out of time. Surprisingly, actually, Faven doesn't really go for a quick pincer. He's actually taking his time, and this could be costly for Searson.
Certainly will cost him the money here. 3 players to be taken down. Okay, so when he pushes up, Crim's got to land the headshots from here because they're all on high HP. He sees where Crimbo is. I imagine he probably just gets sandwiched at this point. Yeah, there's the kill for Crimbo. Making it look easy against the Pistols. 5-0 start for Big. So once again, we have that confidence. We have that initial groundwork laid for the German team.
It took Big quite some time. Imagine this being a best of one, though. Fnatic would have been 2-0 out of this group, done and dusted, right? So for best of 3 statuses, I mean, it is as expected. Big now challenging from all angles, all frontiers, and they're feeling a lot more comfortable, and you can tell.
It took them up to get warmed up, so I guess you could say that. Right now, they are looking not just warm, but on fire. Fnatic back to the guns at this moment. Of course, there was an eco half by in the previous one. Maximus bonus will enable those guns to come through. Galil for Forest will still be limiting. The firepower isn't there for the one-shot headshot. Searson trying to use that slight gap in the top to get the kills, but it's Roy and Crimbo that actually kick things off.
Yeah, some damage onto Searson as well. That will hinder his confidence to take these wide-angle swings. So these nades could also pack quite a big punch. Crims looking to aggress here still. Equally traded. Big wanting to dedicate a lot of firepower here towards this A site.
They've got to back up Searson somehow. I'm not sure if this is an overcommitment. I mean, they're leaving B entirely open, but Fnatic are going to walk into A anyway, so that's going to be completely irrelevant.
Yeah, you can see Forest also starting to route around them. Could be very dangerous. Mezzy, there you go. That's an opening, but Big, good retaliation. Not only have they stabilized, but they put Big on top. Oh, Crims looking to aggress, and that's a kill. Down to 9 points of health. It's still dangerous. May look to assist that nade, can do quite a bit onto Tizian, and it does. Not only does it do damage, but it finishes him off as well.
This is back on now. Farven's the man on the back foot, and he's going completely away from the site. Did they not see the bomb get dropped? I know Tizian got a 2k in the midst of the chaos, but surely... Okay, no, he's going with something a bit more smarter. Down the ladder room, in towards ramp, is where he'll go for his flank.
Yeah, it'll take some time until they rotate, which gives plenty of opportunity for Fnatic to get this bomb down. Obviously, they will have to use quite a bit of their utility. Not so necessary. They actually use every single piece of utility they had.
So nothing for the post plant. It's what you said in shorthand. Farven. HP advantage above Crims. Forest will be a bit more of a difficulty. And he comes in from the eye lane. Oh, Forest is right there for him. But he's in the corner. Does Farven check this?
Dear, it's not checked. Forest, he's a dead man walking. Dead man standing. Oh, that could have gone wrong. But Farven retrieves it. The thing is, Crims is low, so low. One bullet, anyone in his body would do it. But Favin has got no clue where he is, and Crims knows that. Bomb not yet touched, therefore no need to walk out of there still, alluding to the idea that he's coming out from alleyway, but no. Crims is all the way behind him, and down he goes. Fnatic on the board.
The worst part for Farven there is that if he just tucked his head down and stuck the defuse, then Crims would have to just charge forward to try and get the kill, so he would have heard that, got an easy frag. But he took too long. He thought there was a bigger game at play. He thought that the T-side were going to set up at ramp or alley. And you saw him, he's checking over both those angles. He never once looked back there to the sniper's nest. And that is what's going to cost Big that round there. Fnatic getting their first on the board. Down to a single player at 6 points of health, though, so it wasn't an easy affair, to say the least, in that round, let alone the extra rounds in previous. But the damage has been done to Big. They're down to a very broken buy here. Fnatic can take control off the back of this if they find the follow-up.
Vertigo, a very tempo-heavy map. Fnatic will look to continue that streak. Tizian fairly deep into this. A lot is thrown at him. Somehow able to survive at it. Big, dedicate 3 on this attack. Fnatic just hold back until the smoke start to open up. Tizian close by, able to shut down Nikodos. What a player to get a kill on.
Talking about taste their own medicine, we saw Fnatic use those MP9s to great effect over on Nuke, and here on Vertigo, it's Big returning the favour on Tizian at the very least. Scout for Searson not quite as lucky here. Spotted at least 2 players. Unawares of Roy, you might know him now. Maybe this kill could find the trade back to an even standing for Fnatic. I doubt the Scout will get the kill. He's low HP, but Roy's got the better weapon.
Yeah, better angled as well. Doesn't seem like Roy expected a straight down walk up towards him. Although there is a good setup here for Big. Crimbo together with Favin. Close by. Favin could definitely find one, especially if it's not checked. Quickly spam through. Crim's able to shut it down. But Crimbo unable to connect the pieces. Forest keeps his team going. Not much time remaining for them. Just one smoke to cover their tracks, but Tabson wants to keep the space close. Wants to be up close and personal. Crims shutting him down, which means Tizian doesn't have got much to work with, which means Fnatic will be able to double up their scoreline.
Yeah, it was a good start for the SMG, but ultimately, again, it was down to the firepower difference, which is what made the difference there for Fnatic, what got them past the finish line. The AK is doing far better than the FAMASas and the Scouts would ever. And once again, smiles have returned to the faces of the international squad. Not I mean, it's a good round, but you still have got a long way back to get back to the scoreline itself. 3 rounds make the difference. USPs and Deagles and P250s will be out for this one. So again, it's a free take. But Fnatic are still playing from the back foot, and we've seen many times how pistols can change the complexion of an entire game.
Starting to look in towards this B site. Fnatic should be able to take this cleanly. Unless Big are able to find some massive USP shots. How massive can they be? Small caliber weapons. Can't expel that match. It's as simple as it can get. Only one Deagle shot for Tizian as Fnatic continue their streak.
Yeah. 3 in a row. 2 easy ones, of course, with the lesser weapons out for the boys over from that big side. And the real challenge begins now with the guns that should be back in play for the German team. Let's see what they'll have, because that might be decisive, especially if they have an AWP. We saw how great it was for them over on the overpass, and if they can have similar impact here, then again, I'm taking a look at the parallels more than anything else as being the difference makers here today.
Yeah, definitely. Parallel like that would be perfect for them. Although Roy is kind of seeing if he wants to push through this smoke. There's a gap that he can work with. Big this time around, a little bit more passive, where they're approached multiple times. They've tried to contest it early, and I think Fnatic are taking full advantage of that. Roy all by himself on a venture. Still, the trade though as Crimbo finds the upper angle to work with. Still, we are talking about a 4-on-4, and the big shoes to fill are here for Faven to do, right? All by himself onto the site, sprayed on a little bit rough on the forest side. Rough bushes around the edges. Nikodos will keep things square, but still, Fnatic got a decision to make, and it seems like they're heading towards ramp.
Yeah, Nikodos already set up there, so we can go in when the smoke's down, try and lead the charge. He is the low HP element here for the Fnatic side, so we need Mezzy and Crims to back him up. And you can already see 2 players are locked out. Tizzit in particular with the backside looking all the way out in the open, tagging another player low, leaving the lineup. So easy for Tabson, and it just looks like a lockout again from Big. Instant return.
So simple from Tabson. Absolutely looked like he never budged from that position. It seemed like he never got pressured too much. Fnatic just didn't check it in time and just was able to turn around to get the third. Still, Godby though, looking to keep this team motivated, looking to keep this team pumped up.
I love how he's instantly in there. Like the moment they have a round down, it's like, okay, let's start talking. The moment they have a round up, great, awesome. Let's keep that going. Let's start talking again. So I honestly love his coaching style, because look how animated he is. Look at like just the complexion of how he's talking. He looks so sad. Look at his hands.
Look at the Italian gestures.
It's a spicy game. Look, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like he's really into this. He's going for it. He's trying to get Big this victory, and he'll do it at any cost.
Big move to bring him back into the Counter-Strike team. Big
Literally.
move. Why am I saying big? I genuinely just caught myself doing that.
We were talking about and everything earlier in the last map, and Big made a tweet about it on their social media pages for other words you can use for Big, and you still said Big. Well done, Pavlos.
Yeah. Shot to play it early on here. Roy hasn't had the best of entry. He's been trying so hard to open things up here for Fnatic, but often it seems unassisted. Often it seems that he doesn't quite have the support of his team to get this done. And this buy run for Fnatic seems to be dropping fairly quickly. Big have answers to anything that Fnatic is throwing at them right now.
Yeah, destination. Big, once again, one of these rounds where they just find every single fight. Fnatic find no luck whatsoever. And Crim's left alone in a 1v5 against 500 HP players, and they'll stay that way. The perfect round for Big, right back in control on their CT side, and it felt like those 3 rounds never happened. That confidence for Fnatic has just been wiped out of the team, probably wiped off their faces, I'd imagine. Definitely not in play for that last round, and might not be in play for the next either.
Is it possible to put an MVP of the match to coach? I feel
not officially.
Not officially, but in our hearts.
In my heart, certainly it is Godby. I'll give you that. I will give you that, Padmas. Hero AK now for Crims, the last man alive in that last round, saying he's had enough. He's going to try to get something back for Fnatic. It's not the worst buy in the world. I wasn't really a fan in previous, but I have been convinced that it's actually a respectable buy, especially if you can get the bomb plant and a kill, which Crims does not. Roy's also fallen, so 5-on-3.
Mezzy, the only person with an AK now, wants to move into that B-site contention. Only damage to be found, and he himself is very low. Forest ends up falling. It's looking rough for Fnatic. Unable to find these entries. Might be able to trade some odd kill here or there, but Big, uncontested, seems so comfortable. Just hold down the CT side on Veritgo. On the upper ends of this skyscraper. Might as well enjoy the views while Mezzy will.
Well, I mean, he'll enjoy it for a bit.
For just a split second before he just splats.
How long did it take you to fall from the building, actually?
Depends how tall it is.
I haven't calculated it. Well, the Veritgo building. That's what I'm talking about, Pavlos. Come on, dude. It's Counter-Strike.
Someone has definitely calculated that. You know they have.
Tweet us at the Eternal J and at XWarrior and let us know. How long does it take for a body to fall from the highest and lowest points on the Veritgo map? I'd love to know. I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm not asking for memes. I genuinely want to know. Asking for a friend. His name's Pablo. So,
hey.
Guns out for Fnatic. The buy is in. We're friends for now. We'll see how that changes over the course of this map up. Right. Galil in for Crims. Has to take that sacrifice because he went for the hero AK in the last round.
Right. First shot for Fnatic here. This is all important. They finally get themselves a lead in numbers.
That's an extend though. Got Farman posted up here, and he did well in this position before with the Deagle, the AK. There, this time, all this spam, they know. I don't know how they know, but they know.
They're not going to fall victims to it again. Crimbo looking to trade it back, but still Fnatic looking to take control. Crims throughout the middle side of this map. Roy also, this looks like an elevated Fnatic side. This is looking so much better for them. Not losing a duel. And now Crimbo, all that remains with everything to do. The young star of Germany, at least will level it out a bit, make it more palatable. Against 3, can't be easy. Footsteps must be heard from the Fnatic side, and his decision is clear, just save it. Allow the bomb to be planted across the other side of the map and attempt it. And Nikodos, they're going after him. They don't want them to save this AK, it's for good reason. Nikodos takes him down, no AK saved.
Yeah, give nothing to Big at this stage. They're just getting the half, they're up at the 8th round, and they can go even further at this stage. It's all just a bonus. They have the CT side under wraps at this stage. So it's a case of building up everything that you can to make your own CT side decent, to make that the winning element for yourself. So don't allow them to get that AK, because that could be enough to turn another round towards their favor and then another round towards their favor, and you just don't want that here. Once again, God B being as animated as ever. I imagine something you might be saying right now to the boys is, where's the mid defense? Because we saw from Fnatic, right, Crims was able to sneak up into the back of the B site from the scaff angle, mostly because of the fact that there was no one really there to contest him. And we saw that as well in that last round where he was in the 1 versus 5. By virtue of the fact that he was in a 1 versus 5 is how he lost it. That might be an exploitation angle for Fnatic, and Big will need to cover it up.
Yeah, and I think Roy also had an opportunity to come alive there. I mean, the first kill was a little bit unfortunate for the Big side, not really looking in the right direction, but then finding the double against Searson, that was just a simple duel. Searson felt like he wanted to go for him for the swing, and missed the opportunity. Still with an AWP though. Not full Kevlar and helmet. Of course, up against the AKs, that's understandable. Save it, buy the utility instead. But quickly, Big's economy not looking as grand as before. Crimbo attempting to find some space here, be a little bit sneaky, misses an opportunity to swing by. Messi's covering that corner though. Oh dear, here he comes, gets one, but it's just the one. Fnatic on top, looking to stampede towards A.
Yeah, Searson's quickly here with the AWP. It's going to have to be a magical play, and Nico Odo says, no, that all wants to be mine. I've got an AK, I've got a headshot, I've got a tap on the Tizzy in as well. He does grab that AWP. But no chance that Nika can get it in this particular round, and doesn't seem like Fnatic are going to get it at all. Big are going to back off and save.
Perhaps a lack of respect there from Big to kind of push towards the site when they know they've given all the space for Fnatic. I mean, Fnatic have been a little bit slower paced at times, but this time around they knew what the plan was, just took the execute, and you can see everyone holding a different angle to make sure there's no flank that could be covered. And just like that, Big got shut down 1 by 1.
Fnatic building back into their advantage, banging back into the 5th, laying the base foundation again for a comeback. And much earlier this time, so kind of a comeback, kind of not. Still a very long way for Big to get to the map victory itself. We'll get Roy on the way out, so a little bit extra expense for Fnatic, nothing major. They are going to go for the hunt again. Like I said in the previous round, give Big nothing. And it looks like they'll get nothing here in this hunt. Yeah, a little bit too late on the face around the corner for the AWP. So yeah, 5 rounds for Fnatic, only 3 to make the difference.
I love the music on the replay. It's very funky. You know, just keeps you keeps you alive, baby. I don't know. Just kind of gives me those vibes, you know. All right.
not my kind of thing.
Not kind of thing.
Don't know if
You're a hard rock fan, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
metal.
Yeah. Not much.
All right, yeah. I like a bit of jazz here and there, not too bad. All right, enough of music genres. This is actually turning out to be a very close game. Both teams one-on-one in map scoreline, and this is a decider, remind you. And this could be top seed of Group A, kind of decided. Well, it's decided on this match. Who wins it takes that spot.
Decided on this map here. It's map 3. Fnatic and Big trading blows. Trading rounds back and forth, trading damage and kills. Fnatic will start things off with Roy's opener. He's down on 21, though. Nikodos on 73. Start to thin things out on the CT forces as Fnatic look towards that B play. The bomb is there, and one man left on it. Farman's so passive here, well behind the Jenny. Ahead of the scaffolding. He's got this out to receive the execution on his own.
Oh, Forest just moves in. Entries like a king he is. Crims, the other legend in contention, does mess up a little bit. That's for good reason. Roy is there to pick up the pieces. They all do. And Big, they just drop the ball on all ends. They seem a little bit lost. Searson will look to save this up now because using this big gun of green up against the 4 Fnatic with full control over the site, it's a difficult means to an end.
There's a couple of kills from Searson at least. So he is taking some exits, trying to make it expensive for Fnatic. Because the money isn't 100% there, so it would be good damage. It would be valuable to the CT side of this stage. Roy leaning in next. Is he aware of this? He might sneak right past him, actually. I think he's in the gun barrel. Yep, there's the kill. So all in all, it will still be Fnatic in with control 6 to their board. And into round 15, they could still make it an 8-7 half, which would be a recovery considering what we saw at the start of the game.
Good to see the rest of the team now talking as well.
Yeah.
Taking charge, go B, letting it be this time around, of course. I think there's also a discussion to be made there, right? I think they also respected the B site a little bit too much, the mid-control. Again, mid-control was where they struggled a little bit. Fnatic seem to be understanding how Big are playing this, and it's starting to unfold well in their favor.
Took them a while to really get themselves in the groove. Found their identity. Into round 15, they found themselves in the better position. The pistols brought out for Big here.
It's a force.
Yeah, you're right. It's a force buy, but it's the best that they can afford. And you can see how well it's going to go for Searson. Down and out as Roy continues to press forward. It seems to be a quick score with the A site.
Yeah, Big in big trouble. So many players close by. So many knowing what is about to happen. But what is about to happen is Crimbo finding a double with a 5-7. Crim's able to bounce it back, but oh, there was a moment there where everybody believed Big had a chance, but Roy says a big no to that. Fnatic as close as it could get at halftime. The recovery was real.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was. Again, you've got to consider what we saw from Fnatic and from Big at the start of the game. The fact that Big tore away with a definitive lead and they held it right up until they got the half advantage. And then from there, Fnatic able to bring it as close as they have. Whether it had been 8-7 or 9-6, it doesn't really matter. It's great momentum going forward. It's a great opportunity now for them to transition over to their CT side. And again, that's where they brought the comeback over on Overpass. That's where they've got things together over on Nuke. It's their chance now to make magic happen and to make this series happen. Imagine what would happen if they beat Big and 2-0'd their way straight through to the stage.
Yeah, we also need to talk about the stakes, right? Getting a win here would take them to the stadium and play in front of the fans, where you guys could also join us here in London. Anywhere nearby, in Sweden, Denmark, or anywhere you want to join us, really. Prices, fairly good, actually, for such an event.
Yeah.
So many good teams.
My taxi was more expensive from the airport.
Absolutely. So, yeah, come join us. It's going to be great fun. And whichever team wins this map will get there in the first seed.
Star's been found by Big on this occasion. Fnatic on the defensive, trying to see if they can lock out a decent trade, and they will find Tabson on that one. The blind fire even comes through. One player catches 2 on the reload, forcing forward Searson. Surely he doesn't get this. Oh my god, he has.
How was Searson alive for so long? Oh dear, now Fnatic looking to recover, and they put a lot of hope onto Forest. It seems like his position is well telegraphed, but it doesn't matter. As long as you peek him one by one, he'll be able to deal with you. Crimbo with a wide swing finally gets dealt a bad hand smoke onto the site. Nikodos, what a shot! Nikodos!
As beautiful as it can be,
He's back again.
Give me that chef's kiss. Mwah. Lovely. Once again, Nikodos showing up when it matters most. Some of the players this guy has is just unreal. Absolutely unreal. It's so hard to believe to me that he's not the definitive top fragger at the server. I mean, he is after that sequence, but he was tied with Crimson Roy. It feels like he should have had so many more at this stage. Beautiful. Utter beauty in that play and that sequence, and it just continues to find dominance here for the Fnatic side. If they can enable him to be the star player of this roster, I see a bright future for Nikodos and Fnatic.
Round-wise, this is very close, and I think Fnatic have often found comfort on the CT side, but how much can we really expect that on Vertigo?
I mean, so far the trends do indicate that we could expect a little bit of it. And so far, the confidence has certainly not left them. Big got a bomb plant, though, so the rifles might tell all. And Roy has started things off on the right foot. The mid control, challenged by Mezzy, gets that kill with one on the trade.
Yeah, Crims can't fall back yet. Molly at his feet, flash. But instead of pushing forwards, does opt out of it as soon as the Molly dissipates. Roy to assist, but to no avail. Big coming out on top of that one. Full A-site control, and Fnatic left trading behind.
After the two frags to start off in the mid position, I'm kind of surprised that Big were able to turn it around, but their backstabbers worked out. And they left an M4 and an MP5 on the retake. Not great for Fnatic. No kits on them either, so their slow pacing is going to leave so much pressure on the tail end of the retake.
This is going to be so tough for them. Without a pick, without Big overstepping, this isn't going to be impossible. It has to be a save. They know it. And Big, the turnaround is there for them. Lose the pistol, win the second.
Arguably the more important round, really. 2 M4s recovered, that Galil staying in for Farven. Of course, it was a very harsh force buy thanks to that reinvestment. Oh, Creep's going to take one player down. Hunt for the exit. He might get him. No. Sacrificial SMG, but not a lot left in the bank for Fnatic. They will have to force the buy because it's double eco status on at least one player, possibly more. Certainly having the better justification for it at this stage without the loss bonus of the pistol round. And arguably, this is the more important round for Big in this in his opening too, because if you win the pistol, your opponent still gets the first stage of loss bonus by default, and therefore the money can build much quicker. If you win the pistol, then lose the follow-up, then you get knocked back to double eco status. So that's the concern for Fnatic. Big should take control of the advantage here. At least the M4 stays in, it's backed up by Deagles. So Fnatic, if they hit those accurate shots, they can get into the round.
Oh, this is also high risk, right? Because they're kind of entertaining the idea where Big could start to line up more rounds here. Oh, Nikodos, they know where he is, which means a nade can start flying towards him. Roy close by, not going to make anything happen with that small gun. And you can quickly see that Big can unravel this heavily in their favor.
That's a shame for Nikodos, considering how good he was with the USP. The Deagle, not so much. Those two frags found. Everybody else that falls in the hands of the rifles. Not even a formality for Big. A cleanup. It's Fnatic leave Crims in another 1v5.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That's not. Could find some damage, but apart from that, not much. I think they're going for an eco anyway the next round, so saving Kevlar wouldn't be all that bad, but I think it's more important to take the guns away from Big. Really, not allow them to steamroll with momentum, not get away too much, because we know Veritgo can be as such. We know they can start to get that tempo quickly and never let go. And Big, with a control manner, if they're given the opportunity, they will.
The lead held by the German team, equalised only for a moment by Fnatic. USP is brought out for the follow-up eco round. No choice in the matter, no say in what you buy. The money just isn't there. It's better to hold on, build the loss bonus, go back in for a rifle round. And to be a credit, they are going for a bit more of a pug-style 10-man strat, which actually can yield some decent results if you catch them off guard. You won't catch Farven off guard here, though. Rifle mows him down, Glock comes in, gives him support. Quadra found. Easy round.
I love that he says, okay, I'm going to make this a little bit more equal for you guys. I'm going to draw out a pistol myself, just, you know, for the flex. But, yeah, that's all it is, really.
We shall fight on even footing.
It's not even footing when you've got another guy behind you with a rifle. But, you
and
know,
probably Kevlar
just
as well.
teases
you know?
with it. Yeah, exactly.
It's as even as you can get.
It is. Big on a good trajectory to close us out, but Fnatic can put a halt to that if this buy round works out better for them.
Yeah, the gun rounds are all about momentum hold, like you mentioned, just to stop things. Put the stop to whatever streak that Big has gained. He didn't use the utility well enough to do that. Damage on the 3 players, 2 of which are extremely low. Tabson is dead, as is Tierson. Crimbo with a responsive, at least keeps it manageable, but Fnatic still have the advantage.
Yeah, big advantage. Teasing with a lot to do here, with not much to work with. Crims, with that nade thrown at him, he'll know what's about to be played out. Molly to his feet, Faven aggressing, but Forest is playing it sneaky. Oh, there he goes. Not getting away from Forest. He'll sniff that one out. And Fnatic actually very quickly were able to find themselves on top here, not really allowing this to the fate of the final vestiges of this round. It's only just gotten to the 1 minute mark, and this round has been decided.
Yeah, overwhelming force of Fnatic. All the jewels being run in their way, and the nades to provide a little bit of support, but really it was just down to the jewels themselves. And that ramp control, you mentioned how important it is on this map, and you could just see it right there for Fnatic. They went in, they got the kills, they decimated any sort of control that the teams could have had. I love that Roy saw the player behind him and still adjusted to the player as sandbags to get the kills. And everything else fell apart from there. Tizzy and caught panicked by Roy. 11-9, Big. Still not able to fully escape the grasp of Fnatic. Playing catch-up. Guns are back in for both teams. Still limited by the FAMAS and Mezzi. No limits for Big at all.
Very familiar position here for Roy. Often takes this up.
Or, I don't know if... There's gaps in those parks, so you can see players out on occasion.
Roy just lost his support. Has to do it all by himself. That's one, but it's through the scaffolding, and Tizian will put him to an early grave. Mezzi! When was he given that chance? How was he alive for so long to find all that damage? Now we're back to even. Equilibrium. 2 on 2. And it's ramp action for the Big side.
They're backing off, look towards mid and stack the B side. They think this might be a rotation. I believe they do. Mezzi giving his life for the sake of that whole defensive. And again, it's like, when did he get the chance to do that? Sitting there around the alley position, snuck by 2 players, thought it was that 51 was clear, but that was not the case at all. And now Fnatic push on to the backstab. They must be aware that this is going to be an A play. Silent. Careful, Forest will lean in. What can he find on the backstab? I think he's being watched.
Yeah, Big aware of a push like that. Oh, it's rough. But Forest gets it. Oh, dear me. Searson, he doesn't expect a second player, though.
Crim should have struck. He had the perfect chance. Searson has no idea.
He's got more chances than that, though, Jay. Starting to walk up. No way. Big think that Crims has also come from the position where his teammate was a moment ago. Searson thinks it will be from spawn, but now he'll get the bomb down. 5 seconds just in time. Crims will be swinging, and that's Fnatic on top, on double digits, 1 away from Big scoreline.
Okay, got Larry in the end, but you were right. Crims had more opportunities, and he played that pacing to perfection, walking up at the tops angle into the alley just as the bomb was starting to make its way to the site. Giving chase, allowing the quick swing, the quick kill, and not even bomb bonus money for Big. But it was this play for Mezzi that made the difference, that made it winnable there for Fnatic. Because Big, it felt like they had their trumps. They got the forward player, they got the offside anchor. And from there, it should have fallen down. The heroics are what's going to get Fnatic past this one. 1 to go before they equalise the score.
1 to go indeed. But a lot more to come. This has been the most neck and neck we've seen these 2 teams battle it out on either of these maps, right? First one looked heavily in favor of Fnatic. Second one, Big, completely turned the script around. But now, it seems as soon as a team grabs control, it's quickly taken away from the other. Crim's in a position to do damage, but doesn't have a chance. Still damage onto the other. Forest onto the back end, looking to focus on the main entry, but unable to do so. Overwhelmed by the angles, gives Big the advantage on B.
A 3v3 retake still favours Fnatic though. Crimbo's extremely low. He's going to be the forward player. I think he's behind the generators and he's going to play against the flashes. The C teams will walk their way up. A backstab could be interesting there from Farven coming in from the ladder room on towards mid. Fnatic haven't accounted for this.
Oh no. Oh no, they haven't. Which means this push has to have to be quick. That's a well-placed nade. Crimbo's no more. But as he said, Farven He's lurking in the shadows and he's waiting for the moment to strike. Will it be on time? A smoke behind him to the cover. That's Messi telegraphed it. That's 2 for them. And now Roy gets it again. But Tapson on site will take charge. Big on 12. That got dicey, but they got it in the end.
It's all about the individual efforts in these last few rounds. Father now credited with the MVP of that particular round. Perfect placement. And again, timing it so well. The kill on the first and the second. Even though he didn't see that second player, he just knew. Must be spread out. They must be out and about. I'll come in slowly. I'll come in carefully. I'll make no noise, and I'll find the backstab that will ultimately win my team the round. And this has turned into a game of margins as well, Pavlos. A single kill could make the difference. A single clutch could be enough to win this map up and this series. And I think Godby recognizes that himself, right? Like, he's taken another moment to talk to his team, give him the juice, give him the lowdown on what they need to do. Because Fnatic, they're not out of this one, not by a long shot.
It's a very different dynamic to what Fnatic have got in store, right? Because I think they're allowing to players to breathe, to figure out themselves, figure out their own dynamic. So it's a completely different style how these two teams are approaching the game, and how they, because Fnatic on the one time wants to figure out how they want to approach the game in general, while Big have got some working pieces together, and Godby is trying to put them to fruition in this particular matchup to get them across that line.
This is going to be the winning point here for Big. The buyout for Fnatic has actually seen a forced invest. The Deagle's coming in down to the hundreds of dollars. It carries a lot of risk here. They lose it. They're as good as done, almost. 14-10 will be the scoreline that we get to at the very least, possibly even more. No more bonus will come through for the CT side. They're just going to rest on that loss bonus alone. Roy's taking that early damage, but fortunately for them, they haven't lost the opening kill.
Yeah, that bait, though, will be perfect for the Big side, because it kind of alluded to the idea it was a B hit, but instead, it's a switch over to the A site. Now pivoting over, Big will find it fairly open, right? No one really closing out on it. There's only Roy close by, and that's just the 5-7, so if Fnatic had any chance to find damage in this round, it would have been with the stacker, but unfortunately it is towards the wrong end. Quickly rotating over though, look how fast they find their way onto the back ends of those smokes. Nades are flying at them though. This is Chinese New Year because there's explosions and fireworks to the backside of this. Still, one will be going down, and it seems Fnatic aren't finding their entries. Big have got full control and know exactly what's going on every single one of those players.
Yeah, it was always going to be a long shot for Fnatic at the end of the day. Like, it's pistols versus rifles, and you could just see from the HP bars of Big how little impact they found here. Unless Nikoros and Messi start popping heads instantly, like 3 of them right now, then they have no chance of the retake. And, well, yeah, Nikoros shut down by a scout. Messi, similar story against Crimbo's Khalil. That's 13-10. Big edge closer and closer to the victory here. 3 rounds to get there. The deficit will grow. And I don't believe that Fnatic will have a decent buy. I think it's probably best to eco, maybe half invest in this next round. I haven't been keeping track of the loss bonus, I won't lie to you. We'll see how far they'll go with it. Now Keita's getting animated here. The Fnatic side realise they've got to pick up the same sort of pacing here. They've got to really figure out what it is they're going to do to break this Big side. It will not be an easy affair. And again, they know it.
The pressure is mounting for sure on both ends. Fnatic know that playing a best of 3 against Heroic later on, I don't think it will be as good as that best of 1 was on Inferno. And I think that map might be out of the equation as well for them. So, yeah, no, if Fnatic are able to get this win today, that's the best that's the best case scenario for them. Otherwise, they could be in big trouble.
Not much left in this round either, Pavlos.
No.
USP's pulled out. Stacking might catch Tapson. Okay, that's 1 frag. And Searson gets a collateral just to respond immediately.
Just a casual collateral.
Yeah, just casually, all good.
No, just a casual no-scope. Another casual no-scope. Just as casual as an ace you can get from Searson.
That was silly. That was so silly. They all stacked it. To think he got that many no-scopes and 2-for-1s, unbelievable. It started off casual and then it went into something else. I'll give you this here, Pavlos. Wow. Wow, oh wow. Quick end to a round. I guess Fnatic wanted it to end quickly the same because they can get to these guns, but they need to take this victory. If they lose this one, it's over.
It redefines the word casual, doesn't it? That play. It really does.
see what the weapon setup can do here for Roy. Taking the place of the CT side here on the side position, trading blows with Tabson, or trading bullets with him, not really trading blows. No damage being done to the T side at least, very minimal done towards Roy. Nico Odo's going outside of the fence, sees one player, can't get the kill shot, sees and backs off.
Supremacy here for Fnatic as they guarantee some further space, smoke on sandbags to give them some further movement. Searson to expect it, but Fnatic aren't so aggressive, not so over-eager. Nikodos, though, could be falling in the crosshair. Searson, no, not going to happen. It's timing to make its presence again. As the smoke dissipates, new angles are formed.
Crispy shot for Tabson. The angle generated there at the ramp position will give Big the man advantage. Roy is also low. A couple of easy picks for them. They walk up towards ramp to go towards that A execution.
Standbacks, mollied off. Big no. What's to come? Just full front forwards. Roy's there to deliver though. Call in the cavalry to assist. All that spray comes through. Mezzi boosted up now with a different angle to work with, unable to find the damage. Tizian able to find him throughout that smoke. Somehow spotting out his head, and I think it's starting to get catastrophic here for Fnatic. Big have gained so much out of this, and nothing comes back for Fnatic. Crims taking charge of the AWP. His teammate falls, and so will he. Big on map and series point, a point away from heading to playoffs.
For Fnatic, they fought valiantly up until this point, but I think the run might be over here in at least this upper bracket of the group stage. They have that second chance in the lower game a little bit later. But the bottom line is still that Big are on match point, and that's all you need to know about. And that's all you need to worry about here. That's all Forest needs to worry about. Fnatic not so positive anymore here. Still a long way back into that overtime and all. Like, they've still got a grind, essentially. It's not quite as much of a grind as it was in the last map. It's not quite as much of a grind as it was for Big over on Nuke. But a grind nonetheless. What are they going to have to work with it here?
Oh, Tizian.
When they're up against a ridiculous place like this for Tizian, that transfer is silly.
It's crazy, man. And we didn't see it from his perspective early on, so it's good that we got to see it this time around, because he could barely spot out Mez's helmet. He couldn't see the second player on the other side. That is mad.
No real weapons for Fnatic to work with here. SMGs and a Deagle to play. I feel like it's all just down to Big here and their weapons. Nade stack, only one of them. Molotov to follow suit on Nico Odo, so I think he's a dead man.
Out into the open and down he goes. Quickly traded though, Crimbo back into the fight. Roy, MP9. Really can't be too big of a weapon on these long distances, but so far Big are playing it close towards scaffolding. Fnatic nowhere close to be seen.
They're backing off as well. The Molotovs might send them back into the A side, but it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment. You need all your forces on one place. They wanted to go towards B. Forest are looking to try and join them and stack up A. Big rotate now. They have a free and open bomb site, but they're going to commit here. It's all down to this. Fnatic, one last chance to survive, one last chance to keep us alive on Vertigo.
Can they get it done, though, on the back of those smokes? No more HG grenades for Big to throw at them. Therefore, they can play aggressive. Flash coming through. Crimson will be aggressing, but it's Big to get most of his kills. Last-ditch effort to keep them alive, but Mezzi's so low, and he's only got an MP9 to work with. 30 seconds at least. They've delayed the bomb plant.
Delay's not going to mean much, though. The time is almost out. Big have got to commit to this plant, and Mezzi's going to give him the room to do so.
Oh no, repositioning of that AK will always be supreme. Big get it done. Big qualify the playoffs, first seed of Group A. And that's how you do it. Fnatic will have to drop to the lower bracket and play against Heroic once again, but this time in a best of 3.
To think as well, right? Fnatic did so much work in that series. We kind of had it written off the back of map 1, and then we saw how things got back at the back of map 2. Fnatic did almost everything right. And it comes down to those couple of rounds, I feel like, those little bits and pieces that we'll have to adjust and go back into the next game with, because they have got that decider game, Pavlos. So it's not over for Fnatic just yet, but it is over for them in this series. And you're right, Big will be making their way to the playoffs.
You got to say it was a good series by them, but the desk will be the decider of that. They'll be telling us what exactly went down and how to analyze it. Back to Pala and the boys.
Thank you, Pavlos. And yes, as the Eternal J pointed out, Fnatic are down, but they aren't out of the competition. They will be moving into the lower bracket to play Heroic. That'll be taking... Oh, yeah, they actually get a little break, and then they're playing at 4 PM, so stick around for that. Big, on the other hand, they'll be moving through to the upper bracket final. That'll be taking place tomorrow at 8 PM. We don't know who their opponent will be yet. So 2-1 for Big versus Fnatic. Congratulations to Big. Before we talk about what Big did right and how they ended up winning out, Fnatic on Veritgo, what went wrong?
I think their CT side wasn't there. They have an excuse actually, because CT side is, you need more of the team play kind of, you need those flashes, right? So you need to know where your teammate is, you need to know how to play around the op, and they struggle with it, right? Because it is, in my opinion, easier on the T side to play as a new team, but on CT side, you really need to get those timings correct, because someone could be in like mid without you even telling your teammates or forgetting about it. It happens in new teams, and I think it's a good lesson for them to go through Veritgo like this on the CT side, so they can go now and talk about it and just, you know, fix the problems.
I think they got unlucky on the second round and the second half. We think about the pistol round that came through. We saw the way in which Fnatic won the round but gave Big a bomb plant. And then what ended up happening was Big force buy up. They go for a mid walk and they kind of catch Fnatic sleeping. And especially once you go into that second half, you want to try and gather up the momentum. You want to try and get rounds in a row. And I think that obviously held them back a little bit. And then from that point onwards, look towards the end of that second half, Golden, there wasn't bomb plants. They weren't really coming through at all. And it was Big just overwhelming in so many of those rounds. And for Fnatic, I think they had a pretty decent contention in the first half, but come the second, that's where it slipped.
Yeah, Golden, focusing in on Big now. What impressed you on Veritgo?
I think it's just how they kind of knew they were the better team on Veritgo here, and just they played their cards right. So they didn't do anything that they took chances or more risk. They just played their game. And I felt like maybe Syrson was a big part of it with the op. And even though it's a little tougher to get some more impact, they still did it. And also shout out to Gobby and Tabson, because we could see how passionate they were when we saw them on the TV. Like, he's speaking with his hands and entire body, as we see now, and you know, just that's a good leadership.
Yeah, we can see an amazing Searson highlight on screen right now. He was actually the highest performing player on the server, probably going to be our Pinnacle MVP, but we'll have to wait and see. Dweg, it looked like you wanted to jump in when Golden was finishing his point.
I think just to add on the Searson discussion, you've obviously got a capable AWPer in so many situations. Like, we can talk about the impact frags, we can talk about opening man advantages. Mate, that round right there, you're getting a double no-scope and an ace. Imagine what that fires up a team, especially when it puts you on a scoreline of 14-10. That's just the narrow margin of closing the game. And I think that was the round where it's like, right, here we go, let's close it now.
Now, before we break down this match a bit further and look forward to what is going to be taking place over the rest of the day, Tech Girl is down on the floor for an interview with Crimbo.
Thanks so much, Paula. I am here with Crimbo, and I want to take you way back to the start of this series. You lose map 1. What is the conversation that happens between map 1 and map 2? Because you were able to come back and dominate in that second game.
We really didn't have much of conversation outside. We just felt like we hadn't really have been awake in the first map. It's been early. We've been traveling a lot the last few weeks, and yeah, we just waking up ourselves and getting focused for map 2.
So you do say that, and I know he's not lying because I was outside. The other team had pages and pages of notes, and they were chatting. Fnatic was going through the notes. You guys looked very, very chilled. However, in map number 3, you were leading. It was like 8-3. That chilled vibe not working out because they were able to come back. What happened there?
Like, as you said, we had a really good start, but then we didn't, like, we fall asleep a bit, and we kind of laid on our lead, I would say, and we didn't really react like we did before, and was a bit sloppy. But Fatih, our coach, gave us a bit like a wake-up call, and yeah, on T-side everything went really smooth then.
What do you think of this Fnatic lineup? They have barely had any time together, and they are taking everyone right to the edge. Scary for the future, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Like definitely, also in the beginning, the teams in the honeymoon phase, I would say, are always really scared of. They can beat any team. They beat Heroic. They didn't make us like our life easy in this game. And yeah, like I think it's gonna be a good lineup. But yeah, let's see what happens in the future.
Can they beat Heroic on a best of 3 later?
I think Heroic will win this one. Because like they are a top team, they like in these best of ones they also been like had COVID issues because of not traveling to Dallas, and I think they are getting more in shape now and learn from their mistakes. So I think Heroic should win this one.
We'll see if you're right. Now, I was a little bit concerned because obviously we heard about how the airline lost your luggage. You're going to be in the arena on the main stage, so I wanted to help out. It matches your chain. I got you this shirt, Crimbo. There we go. You can wear that on the big stage.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's my last jersey anyway, so I'm gonna wear it.
There we go. You should be here because you'll get to see Crimbo in that sparkly shirt. Paolo, aren't you excited about that?
I'm definitely excited, yeah. Tech Girl showed me backstage her plan to offer that amazing garment to Crimbo, and Crimbo's accepted willingly. So if you come here in person, get your tickets, you can see Crimbo looking all sparkly and fabulous on the stage. By the way, if you guys had a chance to go next door yet and check the stage being developed, I think it looks awesome.
No, I just saw it from afar.
We should get you in there, Golden.
Yeah, get me in there, man.
Prime position. Get a look onto everything. Looks pretty banger.
Yeah, so we're in the stadium here. If I'm not mistaken, it's usually used for handball, so good capacity. Very nice stage, great lighting. The production crew, who I've worked with many times, doing a fantastic job. Make sure you're here. There's no excuse if you're in Sweden, especially the South or Denmark, Copenhagen area. If you're a big baller, you can travel internationally too. You know, hop on the PJ, get down here to London, have a good time with all of us. All right, so guys, any other thoughts on this best of 3? Remember, everybody at home, Fnatic aren't out. They're going to be playing Heroic at 4 p.m. Closing thoughts?
Just go back to practice room, just eat some food, you know, for Fnatic, and just learn from this, because I think their mistakes aren't that big to fix. Like, it's just some talk. Okay, how are we gonna do if they do this on Veritgo, for example? Just fix the small issues, or yeah, find small fixes, because you won't be able to go into something complex. And I think that's what they're gonna do. Just like take it slow and just fix the smallest issues you can fix.
Dweg?
Yeah, I just think the groundwork's set here for a decent run at this event. I mean, to think that they've got a stand-in, they've got 2 new players, they've beat Heroic, and in a best of 1, you're taking big to 3 maps. Okay, we can maybe sit here and say it wasn't the best of second halves from them. That first half of Veritgo, they're here to play, and I think that they can still be a threat even come their next best of 3.
Okay, let's take a look at our official Pinnacle MVP. Drum roll, please. Searson, okay. Interesting. I guess that's because of the impact he had with the AWP, right? On that last map. Oh, yeah, no, it is Searson. Yeah, he was 58 to 49 across the series. He's the one that I mentioned earlier. And yeah, he had an amazing impact across all of the maps. Decent ADR. Guys, were you impressed by how he wielded that AVP?
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it. Like, he played his role to fullest potential he can play it, especially on overpass. I think that map was crucial for them to win, to even get to Veritgo, and he had the biggest impact on it.
Yeah, I think in all situations too, we can highlight the fact that he was winning important duels, opening man advantages. Like when he was going for party picks towards T-Con, especially on overpass, he was finding a lot of success there. But then think about some of the multi-frags and the highlight rounds. We had huge moments from him, and I think he really shined in the series, and I'm hoping that we just get more from him in this entire event.
Golden, Dweg, thank you very much for your time over this first best of 3 on the A stream. All of you that are still tuned in now, you can catch the end of Astralis versus Imperial on the B stream. It's 1-1, they're on the 3rd map, and Astralis are currently up 11-9. So all to play for both teams. For now, though, on the A stream, we're taking a break. We'll be back with Heroic versus Fnatic at about 3:45 for the pre-match segment, and the match will kick off at 4 p.m. CET. All right, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you then.